Hi. So since that Canvas conference didn't work out, I thought I'd go ahead and record this of what I wanted us to cover in there. And most of it was just to show you how to work on Canvas from emails that students have sent saying they didn't know how to do certain things. So some of you may have seen this, some of you may not have seen this. This is mainly meant for the fully remote students because I can't answer your questions in class when you ask a question. All right. So, as students, when you go into Canvas, this is how you will see it. Give it a minute. Okay. So, here's your Canvas course. This right here on to do, ignore all of that always. Don't pay any attention to that. It's all in different orders. I don't even know the order that they're doing it in. I've tried to do it in numbers so that it comes up. It just won't. It doesn't do it alphabetically. Who knows its order? And really not really by dates, sort of by dates, but not really. Okay, so anyway, so please ignore that. Don't pay attention to any of that. So the first thing you would do whenever you come onto the page is to do your attendance, which you would hit right there. Okay, now what I see when I see your attendance. So let me go to fourth block and I'll show you what I see. Okay. So this is what I see once you've submitted it. And I'm going to hit it so that it shows up for today. Okay. So these are the students that have checked in today, right? If we are asked or we have to submit attendance within like the first 10 or 15 minutes of class. And that's because and that's mainly for the students that are here in the classroom, right? And that's because if there's a fire drill, if there's a real fire, if there's a active shooter on campus, something like that, the emergency responders, whenever they come to the school, the first thing they ask is who is in the building. And so the office has to be able to print out exactly who's in the building and give that to the emergency responder so that we can make sure we account for every student, outside at the fire drill meeting place or at the active shooting place, etc. We can account for you. All right. So since we've gone fully remote, that becomes a little bit more difficult because you're checking in and you're asked to check in during your class time. But we have all week to make corrections, right? And so because I have to submit attendance the first 10 or 15 minutes, if you haven't signed in, I can't mark you present if you haven't signed in because you're not present yet. So I have to mark it absent. But if you mark in any time later that day, I can go back and change the attendance. Okay, so don't worry so much if you get a notification from the school and Power School, because anytime we submit an absence in the Power School, a notification automatically goes to your home saying you're marked absent or to your whatever, to your cell phones and stuff. Don't worry about that so much. Just make sure that you go in. If you get that, think of that as a reminder to go in and mark your attendance. And that way I can correct it. Okay, so that's the first thing I wanted to do about attendance. The next thing, so we're back on Earth Environmental Science, what you would see. Okay, so the next thing, if you, for the videos, they're down here under Meet Your Classmates, right? And there we go. All right, so you can click on and see everyone's videos that have submitted them so far. If your name's not up here, I haven't received a video from you that I could have put on here. All right, some of the students, when you click on it, not that one, not that person's, might be hers, yeah. Okay, when you click on it, it will come up like this, video unavailable. But if you click that link, it'll take you to the video. Okay, and it will take you out of Canvas, but you can just close that window afterwards. All right. Okay, so that's if you run into that. You can still see the video, or I wouldn't have put it up here, but you just have to click that other link. All right, so that's it on Meet Your Classmates. I'm going to go back to the main page. All right, so besides that, other than unless you want to look at the school calendar to see we're off on Monday, it's Labor Day. Maybe you can always go here. So Monday, September 7th, we're off. right? And then your progress reports will come out the next week with that eye. So if you want to see that kind of school stuff, you can get that off of that main page, off of the home page. But other than that, mostly what you're going to be doing, attendance, and then you go into this week's lesson. All right, so this week's lesson is where you want to pay attention to. All right, so here are some like how-to stuff. The quiz that's up here, which will be assigned next week, I think, or the week after, before the test. All right, so all of the assignments we've done so far, starting from the beginning day, August 17th, are all still here. All right, if you didn't do your YouTube video, you can come here to finish your video, and it has exactly, you can watch any of these and see exactly how to do it. So when you click on this, like say how to create a YouTube channel, I've gone through and made these with images that walks you through it, tells you and walks you through it with images on how to do this, how it's going to look, what you're going to click on, right? And then you can just, go back and do everything you need to do. On this last one, it's, how to submit it, how to publish it and submit it. So you would walk through all those steps. And then where you want to submit it is back here under make a YouTube video on that first day, right? So going back to this week, come on, right, going back to this week's lesson. All right, this is where you are doing, where you're going to actually submit the YouTube video is right here under make a YouTube video. All right, this is where you can go to and see your classmates, but you can also get to it from the link from the home page. This is where the directions are, up here under finish your video, if you're still stuck on how to do any of that. Okay, so what I've graded so far, I have graded the getting started in Canvas that we did the first week. I've graded the YouTube videos. Now, if you didn't do it, you can still go back and do it. Don't worry about the lates when you see them on Canvas. Just go back and get them in. Look on PowerSchool. If you're missing something on PowerSchool, you need to go back and get it in. If you go back and submit an assignment after it's been entered into PowerSchool as missing, you need to email me and let me know. Otherwise, I won't know to go back into Canvas. In fact, I won't go back into Canvas and look to see because that'd be like grading it another time and another time. And, I'm done grading it, but I will grade late ones. They're not counted late, but I will still grade them if you submit, but you have to let me know to go back and do that. All right. So I've also graded metric system lesson. Okay, so on this metric system lesson, the whole lesson was worth 100 points. If you didn't do something, then you got subtracted those points. By the time, if you do that review quiz, I assume you've done all the rest of it. You shouldn't do that review quiz until you have done all the rest. Otherwise, if you only do the review quiz, you'd get a 0 on all of those and only get 40 points. Right? So this is a point that this is always the end of the lesson. And if you've done this, I assume you've just decided not to do the rest. All right. So that's where those points came from for the 100%. That's how your grade was earned. Okay. When you do a lesson in Canvas, all right, just click on your first lesson. All right. And then, do what you're supposed to do and submit it. Okay. When you want to go to the next part of the lesson, just hit these next buttons. Use these next and previous buttons. Okay. So there's the I can statements. How you're submitting that in is you're going to submit assignment right up here. Then that editor box opens up and you put in you type in your I can statements, put in the numbers. Most of you did this, and so you're good to find the term matter and explain how it's related to atoms. Your PowerPoint would come up. It comes up in a different window, so you can work between the two different windows, right? And so there's the PowerPoint. You look at the first I can. These are the main points that you should be getting. Define the term matter and how it's related to atoms. So you would go right here. Matter, anything that has mass and takes up space. All matter is made up of atoms. There's your first I can statements. Okay. right? So, and you just continue on until you finish, and then you hit submit assignment. Once you've submitted it, it's Canvas that's lagging. You can go to next. All right, so then you're doing, and you just keep hitting next until you get to the review quiz. Take the quiz. You can listen to it if you would like to have it read to you. But then once you hit the review quiz, it will take you into the next lesson, which you don't have to do yet. You can do the next day if you're keeping up with your lessons by the day. Okay, so I tried to grade this, but I had so many students that didn't do any of these, and a lot of students told me they didn't know how. So that's what the purpose of this Canvas conference was supposed to be about, was to show you how to do this. So I'll just do it in the video. All right, so doing the measuring length activity. There is a short video to remind you of how to read the metric ruler, but you would go here to the metric ruler challenge, click on it. In this activity, you need to successfully determine the length of 5 different blocks. So you only need to get 5 correct. When you get 5 correct, you'll get a certificate of completion and you're going to capture an image of it, and you're going to submit it into the assignment, okay? So you just need to get the 5, all right? So click in your name. Each one of these is going to be different. Like yours will be different than what shows up for me. If you're on the Chrome, you can do touch. If you're on the desktop, you can do this. If you're using a mouse. Okay, so here it says click on the half meter stick to bring it in contact with the block. Use your arrows to move it to line up with the 0, not the end of the ruler, but the 0. Any good ruler doesn't put the 0 at the end because the wood and stuff can wear down. All right, so it looks like it's lined up, but we need to come down here to zoom. That's the zoom of this edge. It's not exactly lined up, so we're going to move it back. Now we're going to look at the zoomed edge of this one. Okay, so on our ruler, this is a decimeter point, that's a centimeter point, and that's a millimeter point. On this ruler, this 10 is a decimeter. The 0 is a centimeter. Let's look down here. This 22, the 2 is the decimeter. So I'm going to click on the 2 right after in the 10th place. The centimeter is that 2. Okay, so I'm going to click on the 2 again. Now for it to be lined up, for the millimeter, that's going to be the little hatch marks. And it's right after the 2. So I'm going to click 2 again. And then I hit check. We got it right. Okay, so for this one, first we want to line it up. So it's not really lined up, so we need to bring it back. And then we're going to have 20. All right, so the 2 is there. That's going to be a 0, I believe. That will stay a 0, and this would be, it's 20.7. So that's going to be a 7. Check. Yes, that was correct. All right, so you would do that until you got finished. Once you finish, you're going to do the snipping tool. All right, so for some reason, mine doesn't get saved in here. Doesn't show up in the file folders, but it is there. So I just had to do a search for it, and I got the snipping tool. Every Windows computer has a snipping tool. The Chromebooks have one. The only ones that might not is a MacBook, right? If you're using a Macintosh or an Apple computer. Okay, so once you click on new, the screen fades. You've got that little cross. You just drag it to take a picture of your image. Click on the little floppy disk to save it to your desktop, right? And I'm going to label it length 4. Okay, so collapse that, go back to my submit assignment, coming back here, submit assignment. Go here, click in the box, click on the embed image, all right? And then you just need to go and find that off of your desktop. So we're going to upload file, look for length 4. There we go. Once it's in there, good to go. Just hit update, and there it's in Canvas. Hit submit assignment. It doesn't take that long. It really doesn't. All of this whole part, even doing the thing, should maybe 10 minutes. Okay, then you're going to hit next and go to the next one. All right, submit assignment. All right, so now we're at this one. Okay, so for this one, triple beam balance challenge, Okay, so now you're just reading this thing. Okay, so here we go, begin. All right, so you can see that this is above grams. This is going to be the hatch marks. This is, right, this is the 0, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. You would put that number in that spot. But this is on the 0, so we're leaving at the 0. Coming here to the 70, we're going to click on the 7. All right, and then any of these numbers here, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, would be in this gram part. Okay, and so here we can see it is on the 8. This is zoomed up on this lower one. Okay, so we're at the 8. All right, and then the little hatch mark would be past the 8. So that's a 1. Okay, and check. We got that right. Okay, once you do that, then you're going to get the certificate of completion, hit the new. There we go. Click on save on desktop. You don't even have to name it, but everything's going to be under capture. Okay, go back to this, hit submit assignment. Canvas, it's lagging. Okay, nope, there it is. All right, so then go to the embed image, Canvas, upload file. Upload file. We didn't name it. It was under capture. Naming it just makes it easier to find if you got a lot in there. And then hit update. It's in there. Submit assignment. All right. Don't worry about that late. That's only Canvas. Okay. Triple beam balance. This one's a little bit more difficult. I think this one's harder. I'm sorry, this volume challenge. Okay, so let's do a little bit of this. All right, because the reason why this is harder is because this scale changes. All right, so here on this one, there's 700, 800. Okay, so our 700 would go up here. So we know it's above the 7. So we're going to click the 7. All right, now these lines, because this goes to 700 to 800, and so there are 5 different places, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, there's a difference of 100 here, right? 100 divided by 5 is 20. So we know that this is 720, 740, 760, 70, 780. Okay, now it's not quite 100. So we're going to click that on 8. And then the last one, man, the last time I tried this with you to show someone else, this wasn't doing right. Okay, it's more than 5. I'm gonna guess 8. It's gonna say it's wrong. Yep. Okay, and that's because it's not quite on there. All right, so let's just go to this one. So this is 200, 20, 40, 60. We're just gonna go ahead with 8. Still said it was wrong because it wasn't quite at that line. So this one's making me angry because it's making you guess, and then it's not really giving you anything to guess by. All right, so let's see. Let's do this one. 600, 20, 40, 60, 660. Still gonna say it's wrong. Every time it's gonna say it's wrong. All right. Well, it's keeping it in there. Let's see. 600, 80. Wrong. All right. Whatever. Okay. Again, it's going to say it's wrong. But this is above 200. It's not quite 20. Oh, I see why. I see why now. All right. It's almost at the 20. But see how I put 19? Like before I would have put 20. Never mind. Let's see if that is. Nope. Still said it's wrong. Let's try this one. This one's right on the line, so this should be easier. So it's 300, 20, 40, 60. And then it should be 0. Yeah, she got it right. Okay, so, all right, so for this one, 30, 20, 40, 60, 80. 38. Okay. All right. This one, okay, so this is not 100. This is 30, 40. So instead, this is 32, 34, 36, 38, 40. Okay, so it's 38. Check. Yep, good. We're up to 2. All right, so here we're still on 32. All right, so we're going to put in the 3. 32, 34, 36. All right, so we're going to put in the 6. And then I'm going to go ahead and guess 5. Check. Nope, said it was wrong. I don't like this one. Okay, so this, these are all equal to 1 this time. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever. You always read from the bottom of the meniscus, remember? 8, 0, 5. Nope, it said it's wrong. You know what? You send me just a picture of where you did one of them. If you're watching this, you send that in, I'll give you credit, okay? So don't worry about this. This one's a bad one. Okay. All right. So that was how you did that. I wanted you guys to be able to do that. So get that in because I'm going to be grading it this week. The last thing I wanted to go over with you, just to explain, whenever on this week's lesson. Sorry, on this week's lesson. Okay, for the density lesson. All right, you're doing the problems, okay, and so you need to be able to use that triangle method, which you see in the density PowerPoint. You need to be able to use that, use the triangle to get the formula for mass and volume. You're given density equals mass over volume. It talks about it in here. So you're given this formula always, but you need to be able to also solve for mass and volume. So what are you doing? I'm looking for it, for where it explains how to do that, and it's not. Okay, so for this mass and volume. All right, so the formula for mass, you can use the triangle method. Let's see if I can do my tools. I'm going to write. Okay, so we're going to use this triangle. All right, so the way this triangle works, you have this formula. Whatever's on top of the fraction, you put on top of the triangle. Okay, so that's mass, M for mass. All right, and then you put the others down at the bottom. So D and V. Okay. This line right here means to divide. This line here means to multiply. All right, so if we want the formula for mass, we're going to do mass equals D next to V. So since the D and V are next to each other, we're going to multiply. So to calculate mass, we just take density and we multiply by value. For volume, we're going to take mass and we're going to divide by density. Remember, this line meant to divide. So for volume, you just take the mass and divide by density. So there's your 3 formulas. You're already given density equals mass over volume. And you need to be able to change it to solve for mass and volume when you're doing those problems. Okay. So that should be that. And then, why am I not hitting the next button? It's probably down there. But anyway, so we'll go, I want to get off of that. Whatever. Okay, get back home. All right, so I promise you this is the very last one. last thing I'm going to cover in this video. All right, for the solid, liquids, and gases. So those of you that have, those of you that are B students, never mind. You didn't have it in there anyway. That was for physical science. I apologize. There's nothing on this one. Those who are fully remote, as you know, let's see, let's make sure I've set it up right for you, fully remote students. So I'm asking you guys, or I want you guys to be able to do some of the labs. If you have problems doing this, then let me know, and I'll work with you and everything. Because I know that you're having to go out and get supplies or see, hopefully there's supplies you might already have at home. Okay. So, why are you not able to do that? Why did it not take you to that? I have to check that for you guys. And why didn't it take? Oh, because I'm in this week's. I'm not in a student that's in remote. I think it was assigned to you. Never mind. The remote students are doing a lab at home. If you have problems, email me about it. For the rest of you, it's just part of the lab that you're doing in class. Okay? So that's the end of the video. Sorry that we couldn't do the camp